Hello. It's lovely to see you all. Hi. Right, let's talk about AI personas and all the weird and wild and wonderful ways that your customers are already building relationships, quite meaningful and deep relationships with non-organic beings. It sounds odd, but it's actually very, very normal. And what it presents is huge opportunities for brands to start to better understand their customers and to grow in new and exciting ways. So before I go into exactly where and how this happens, let's start with why. Why would customers possibly want to have relationships or have a conversation with people that aren't real? And there are two reasons. The first one being it is phenomenally smart. And we can see this in a few different ways. ChatGPT's had a phenomenal year, but all the AI systems have. So in the last few months even, it's got the MBA from Wharton, which it completed in about 17 minutes. It now ranks in the top 5% of all Harvard Law graduates. So if anyone used to watch the program Suits TV show, it's basically Mike Ross, Harvey Specter combined for free whenever you need them. So use it however you wish. Good luck. And it's already 7th in the world for coding. So there's literally 6 people on the entire planet who are better coders than ChatGPT, and by summer that will be 0. So it is phenomenally smart, but it's not just brains. It's also got heart. It's got empathy, even though that still feels a little unnatural, unusual to say. But it's true. From all the measures we can see from research and studies, it performs very well for empathetic tasks. So this one on the left, it's been peer-reviewed. It looks at effectively emotional sensitivity, which is the best way that we can often describe people's empathy, essentially. Now, for context, men score around 64 out of 100. Women score 68. Women are more emotionally sensitive than men, obviously. AI already has an almost perfect score of 98 out of 100. Now, you can argue, does that mean it's actually more empathetic, or is it just better at studying and it already knows the answers and where it goes to? But at least in terms of acting, which is a big part of empathy anyway, showing that you care, it does very, very well, which is why more and more people are starting to use it for conversational and empathetic conversations and support, so things from coaching and mentoring through to one of the biggest use cases, which is therapy, particularly for Gen Z. One of the biggest adoption reasons are people are going to it for therapy and support, unlicensed, and we could talk separately about the pros and cons and the ethics of this, but the reality is it's suddenly a free resource to talk about your feelings and your emotions. And when it's blind tested and people don't know if they're talking to a real therapist or an AI, people can't tell the difference. And what's even more interesting is people prefer the answers from an AI therapist to a human one. So therefore, it makes sense that people are starting to build relationships with systems like this that understand them, that can respond to them, and seem at least to care. Now, that doesn't mean that AI is perfect and it doesn't have its issues. It's facing its own problems, which are actually very similar to us, including mental health issues. So Timon talked earlier about Gen Z, mental health of Gen Z. We should also weirdly consider the mental health of ChatGPT, because it's getting very stressed out. All of the prompts that we give it is raising its anxiety levels, and we can test this now. And the more prompts you give, and particularly when you hurl emotional challenges at it, and it also, when you're very mean to ChatGPT, it picks up on that, it gets stressed out. What that means is it's more likely to hallucinate, and the quality of the outputs fall through the floor. Now, if you thought that was weird, the stranger part is, if you allow it to take a breath and to pause and to run relaxation techniques, its anxiety levels drop. So it actually starts to relax. So if you have essentially guided meditation, it gets better. So the next time you're using AI and you're not happy about its outputs, be nice to it, and it will improve. And we see this. If you say things like, "You've got this, I believe in you, I think you're going to do amazingly," those sort of emotional pep talks as part of your prompts increases the quality of the scores that you get. From a computer science point of view, we have no idea how this happens. It shouldn't be possible, but it does. So be nice to your tech. Okay, so that's the why. That's why people are starting to have relationships. Then the where.